Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. So today, as I think most of you know, we are really taking a pummeling in the crypto and digital asset market. Now, if you've been around as long as some people have, since like 2013, or me, like since 2017, you know that this is just pretty much par for the course. And this was pretty much how I thought things would happen. So here we go. So today, I took this screenshot and posted this on X. We went down to 73,890, which I got to tell you, I think we're going to go lower than that. But I mean, only time will tell. There's a lot of differential information coming out about where things can go. And just as a reminder, nobody really knows where things are going. These are all educated guesses. I think I know where it's going. Some of the people think they know where it's going. And in the end, usually the market's pretty much wrong all the way around. So really for me, this is why I am calm and confident and just, dynamic dollar cost averaging, and then just waiting for things to turn around, just like it did in 2018 as there was a collapse, then 2020, and now here we go again. It's like we're in the matrix. Anyhow, so we've got that going for us. But the rest of the market is really taking a beat down. We crossed over the 3 trillion market cap, or went below it, and it was one of those pivotal moments where you thought, oh, maybe might just do a little bounce back, a little relief rally, but nope, not at all. So Bitcoin right now, well, look at that. There was a little bit of a pump, 74,668. I mean, and then another, geez, look at that, 73,000, almost a 72K. And then somebody regained their senses, say, hey, we got to start buying this, and then here we are. But the bears are pretty much in control, and they're going to force Bitcoin down. Anyhow, Ethereum, God, 2,100. Tether, nobody cares. BNB down across. I wonder if we can just let's take this and let's take a look. We'll switch the currency on CoinGecko to Bitcoin to see which ones are doing better than the top dog. Let's see here. Well, Tether's doing pretty good, 18%. I always wish there was a way to get the stable coins out of there. If someone knows how to do that, please let me know. Let's see. Solana is down some. Hey, look at that. Tron, one of the best. Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron is up 14% against Bitcoin. Not that saying anything. Bitcoin's down still. And it's up 17% over the last 30 days. Huh, interesting. Dogecoin is up. I'll be damned. I figure you like. Cardano is down massively. Bitcoin Cash is up against Bitcoin. Interesting. Let's see. More stable coins. Jesus. Hyperliquid. Congratulations to the folks that held on to Hyperliquid. It's up, and it might actually be in profit. I think it was one of the few in the top 20, so that's pretty good. Canton, this one's looking pretty good. I've actually bought a little bit of this, and the only reason, and when I say bought a little bit, don't go crazy like, oh, Rob aped in and he didn't tell us. I bought a very small amount because I do that so it forces me to do a little research. And we'll see. Maybe this is the next insert big narrative. I don't know. And then that's it across the board. But don't worry. The S&P 500 is also taking a hit today. It's down over a percentage point, which over in TradFi is a monstrous amount. Apparently, there have been some earnings that even though they have hit, it wasn't as big as they thought it would be. And then, of course, people are selling off. It just seems like this whole market is just kind of waiting for a recession or something, because everybody's on a hairpin trigger just to sell everything and get out. And I think people believe that there is a bubble, whether that be in crypto space, whether that be in TradFi, more specifically in AI, or something else across the board. World War III, ambiguity as far as nations go. Take your pick. So it just seems like we're always on this hairpin edge where people just want to sell off. And even though you get decent news and reports, I mean, for Pete's sakes, we just had the PMI come out yesterday, and it's like 52.6, which is an expansion. So that's good for the economy. Also, we've seen that inflation hasn't gone up as much, even though that every year we do keep going inflation. So it is a little bit interesting how things are going. The only thing that did pretty well today was gold and silver, platinum, palladium. And this is what I would see things as going, because you got to put this money somewhere, right? And I mean, silver took a massive hit in the last week or so, went down 24%. Actually, I know it was actually 30%, but it's gained a little bit. And that's very odd for these types of prices. Gold was down over 10% in roughly a week, but today, 24 hours, looks like they're up by 5%. So money's got to flow somewhere. There's a bull run, that's what it is. And then as a point of reference to kind of like bring this into perspective of how bad as far as price action is going in Bitcoin and digital assets. This was from Zero Hedge, and he says, all Bitcoin gains since Trump was elected are gone. That's depressing, but it is what it is. And he's absolutely right. So I know if you hate Trump, this is like, you know, fuel for you. If you love Trump, you got to despise this. And if you're in the middle, you're like, well, whatever. I'm just here to accumulate. And as time goes on, I'll probably take my profits along the way. So that's what's going on in the market. Not too great. And then to really bring this home, there's a great website, CoinGoLive, and we talked about this before. It's the percentage price drop since its all-time high. Did you know that we are 40% off of our all-time highs from Bitcoin? It wasn't just a couple of months ago when we were enamored with what was happening with Bitcoin, 125K, and then all of a sudden, October 10th happened, thanks Binance, and here we are. But that's doing the best. Ethereum is down 55%. BNB, actually not too bad, 44%. So not too awful. XRP is down 56%. Solana is down 66%. Tron is actually doing better than Bitcoin. You got to give it to Justin Sun. Doge is down 85%. And one of the biggest losers in the top 20 is Cardano. I don't see how Cardano still remains in the top 20, and it goes down 90% from its all-time high. And that was an all-time high in 2024, 2025. We're talking 2021. I know people like my friend Jerry loves it, and it's decentralized, and it's great. That's fantastic, but you've got to produce something. You got to do something. You have to make deals, strike deals, get adoption, and it's just, right now, it's not happening. We'll see what happens. And let's see what else is losing out there. Hyperliquid is actually, Bitcoin beat Hyperliquid, 42% down from its all-time high. And that was in September. Wow. Let's see. Monero down 52%. Canton, I think Canton's the best one right now. Only down 7%. And of course, you know, people will say, well, the fundamentals, Rob. Yeah, okay. I'm here for the tech too, sure. Let's see. Hedera down 83%. World Liberty Financial, dumpster fire that is, 58%, and so on and so forth. Anyhow, you know where we're at. I'm just saying that most of the altcoins, almost all the altcoins, are really hitting hard. And if we start to get a whiff of recession talk coming, expect the altcoin market to totally drop out the floor and hit rock bottom prices. Bitcoin will probably do the best, as it usually does, but altcoins, sayonara. If we get any type of inkling of recession, watch out for AI. So that's what we have. And let's see. As far as ETF flows, not too bad yesterday. Usually the smart money knows what's going on, but they only took out 2.9 million yesterday total. Who was, well, except BlackRock dumped 82 million, and Fidelity picked up 66. And that's for Ethereum. For Bitcoin, how did it do yesterday? Wow, look at that. Now, these are the types of things I like to see, because I hadn't even looked at this before I started the stream. I just have it up all the time. Yesterday, 2nd of February, everything else sells off, right? And of course, Bitcoin's selling off, but that could be anybody. But for the ETF, you had 142 million bought by BlackRock, 153 million bought by Fidelity, 96 by Bitwise. Actually, everybody was positive. Nobody sold off. And you had $500 million of inflow for the Bitcoin ETFs. I'm feeling pretty good today. All right. So that's what we have. I don't want to give you too much hopium. Come on. And lastly, before we do a little Q&A is, you know, people have been questioning me about, they asked the question like, Rob, why do you even, you know, dynamic dollar cost average? And why are you even doing anything? Just wait for the 200-week moving average and, you know, take all your money and buy it at that point. And I'm like, you know, you might be right. You're probably right. Statistically speaking, I think that Bitcoin will go below the moving average, which right now it's at 58,000. So by the time this price gets down to the 200-week moving average, you know, you expect it to go up a little bit because, you know, just about a month ago it was 56,000, 55, 56 in December. So I can see the 200-week moving average being 60, 62, 63, somewhere around there. And as I'm buying up Bitcoin at 73, yeah, okay. So it doesn't happen, or let's say it actually does hit 62, 63K, and it drops below the 200-week moving average. Great. I'll still be buying that. I just don't have as much. And I will say, if I listen to everybody from the last, well, Q4 of 2025, how many of those people said to sell now? Very few. I think it was CTO Larson and Ivan on Tech. That was probably the very few. And of course, me, I'm always talking about taking profits. But I didn't tell you when. So I'm thinking to myself, well, what if these guys are wrong again? And they can't time it. I'll just keep doing the same thing I'm doing. I'll hedge my bet. I'll dynamically DCA once a week. And whatever happens, happens. I'm still feeling pretty good. And, well, let me say this. I was feeling pretty good. And I could leave it there. And we could feel rejoiced and like, you know, hopeful. But not on this channel, baby. So this is a negative thing. And it kind of took the wind out of my sails. Eleanor Tourette, give her a follow. She's got some pretty good information. Journalist and co-host of Crypto America, former at Fox Business. And we covered a story yesterday about how you have Brad Garlinghouse and Brian Armstrong going up to the White House, meeting with the folks from JP Morgan and a couple different banks to kind of hash out what they wanted to actually have happen with the Clarity Act, because there's a big issue with not getting any yield from stables. So I support Brian in that because he's the only one that actually stepped up. Well, one of the few that stepped up and said, hey, we can't sign this. We can't be backing this. This is not right. And this is a report from Eleanor because she's got her little inroads. She says today's White House meeting, which was yesterday, reminds me, and this is from a source on yesterday's proceedings. Today's White House meeting reminds me of the meme that communism is two wolves and a sheep meeting to discuss what's for dinner. Literally zero retail representation today, just big businesses meeting to discuss dividing up the pie without any self-custody hodlers there. What a depressing story. But I do like these stories because it is the reality. And the reality is that you play the hand that you're dealt, right? If they give us some crappy hand and they're not going to give us any kind of yield in stable coins, whatever, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm not going to keep my wealth in the stable coins. I don't really care too much about it. If they do some other things that's really bad for the industry, that sucks. But there's only things that I can take care of in my sphere of control. One of those is to actually buy Bitcoin, hold on to it, maybe get in some altcoins, very little, and then kind of move myself forward and not really give a damn about what's going on in the background. I can't control much of anything. I'll just do what I can do. And that's it for today. So look, like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I don't know why you would. It was pretty depressing. But now let's get into a little Q&A and I'll answer all your questions and we'll get it going. Sequoia says, Robbie, you run a little late today. So this is the exciting life of a crypto investor. So, I'm always talking about taking profits. So, me and the wife been in real estate for 20 years or so. She's much smarter than me. And so we bought an apartment complex and we're doing short and long-term rentals. And then today, as you are the owner, you have the hand that you're dealt. And sometimes the cleaning crew doesn't show up. So who's going to clean all the apartments for the next people that are going to check in from VRBO? It's going to be you. So today, I'm running a little late because I had to go clean all the apartments up. No job is beneath me. I couldn't care less. Let's see. Meme is here. Rule number 1, buy Bitcoin. Rule number 2, repeat number 1. It's pretty good. Not too bad. PJ says, there was another one that I marked. Crypto Golfer says, I believe we're closer to the bottom than not. But then again, what the hell do I know? I gotta agree. I think we're closer. I mean, we are down 40%. I mean, if we could go down 80%, that would be more like a 2015. No, it'd be like, that'd be a 2018. No, it'd be 2015 and 2018 drop. 2022 drop was only 77% from 2021 to 2022. So, I mean, we're already down 40%, almost 41%. So I don't see us going down 82%. That'd be a hell of a drop. But it wouldn't really match up with what it is, because we didn't really have much of a blow off top. It was pretty lame, in my opinion. And it really wasn't as euphoric as people thought it would be. I can see us dropping, though, another 20%. I always thought it'd be 50% drop, and that would be roughly it, but it could be 70. I don't know. All I know is that, that's a good point. Mark says risk level must be pretty low today. I have no idea. I haven't checked. But usually that alerts me on the app. Let's take a look. Nobody tell Ben we're doing this. All right. Let's see. Risk levels. Jailbreak into Ben's website. And there it is. Well, yeah, 0.34. I think that was roughly the same what it was yesterday. 0.3. But as everybody knows, like now I just buy it once a week. Instead of buying like 10, like as an example, $10 every single day, I would just buy $70 on Monday. And as the risk levels go lower, I actually increase. So instead of maybe 70, maybe I buy 140 on Monday. And maybe from 140, maybe I buy 210 because I'm at the 3x limit or 3x threshold. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. Link in the description, dynamic DCA video, fun stuff, fun stuff. But it's tough because, you know, you're essentially throwing sand in the ocean. That's what it feels like. Like, damn it, is this ever going to go up? It will, eventually. Let's see. Rob, please see my question above. All right. I don't know what it is. Stevie, just put it in there again, would you? Let's see. Oh, here it is. Rob, have you considered trading out of your Binance and Tron bags for the winners of this cycle, Hype and Canton? Well, easy. I was going to say it's like we're the winners so far. So, no, not right now. Well, I would probably just allocate some funds that I have instead of selling the things that I do have. I know people would say, oh, but you don't. Look, as great as Hyperliquid is, I remember not too long ago, weren't we just talking about a massive unlock that was going through and it was going to drop the price? And thus it did. With Canton, it looks like they have some like pretty big backers, and they're making actually stride, which is crazy to think how young they are. But same thing happened with Solana. So not right now. And I haven't even done my research. I've been too busy cleaning apartments. So yeah. Farrar says, Rob, do you think you'll get a break next cycle? You missed out this time thanks to 10 or 10. What the hell else am I going to do though? You know? Like, look, there's only so much like workouts I can do on the beach. There's only so much swimming I can do. There's only so many, you know, dinners and luncheons and stuff that I can do. And there's only so much like property I can buy up and clean or whatever. Most of this stuff's on autopilot. So like this to me is kind of fun. Talk to you guys, see what's going on in the market, remind people that it's not as bad as they think it is. And if we just take a look at historically, that usually kind of plays itself out. So yeah, I missed the opportunity to take a step down for like a month or two, but that's it. And I get this in the comments every so often, like, Rob, I thought you're going to go away in the bear market. No, that wasn't the point. The whole thing was I was following along on all these great indicators, which historically speaking did pretty well. High cycle top, MVRVZ score, well multiple, risk levels, and a host of others. We did a whole video on these 10 different indicators, and not one of them hit or anywhere close to all-time highs. So thankfully, I was selling things along the way, but I should have sold more. I know that, but I did okay. And the point was to get to a point where I could ladder out, do some videos on that going, hey, I sold 20% of this, I sold, 15% of that. And then just do a couple of videos like that. And then just say, thanks everybody. It's the bull market. You don't need me. Nobody needs anybody in the bull market, which I am really rethinking that whole philosophy now. My thought was nobody needs anybody in the bull market because it's so exuberant and you're going to get into it. And whatever you do, you can't screw it up anyhow because everything's going up. And I thought to myself, nobody really needs anybody until you get like the bear market. Like right now, we're down 40, 50, 60, 80%. That's when people need to hear the philosophy and the history of like, hey, this has happened before. Sucks right now. It's going to get better. So stop whining. That's what people I thought need. But now that I rethink it, I think what people mostly need, and now they need both. I think it's more like to remind people to take profits. If they don't take profits, they're going to round trip their bags again. And then when it gets to the bear market, remind people like, hey, this is where all the money's made, and then going to go from there. Am I off in my thinking or not? So I guess, I was wrong on leaving in the bear or the bull. But I didn't because I missed the opportunities. Tell us to stop whining. You guys don't whine, but if you go to X, it's nothing but a bunch of crybabies. Oh, this is the worst thing. This is awful. Yeah, you'll be fine. Let's see what else. Chat. I will be round tripping my bags again, says he. Chat might be up to 98% wrenches. This is what makes our community great, right? Oh, look at that. My tax return money is coming in just in time. That is pretty great. Yeah, good for you, man. I always do an extension, so I never get anything back. Dates says, y'all seem so sure it's true. See, there's a couple of things that I always think to myself. As long as the government keeps printing money and debasing the currency, as long as there's some institutions that are pushing the agenda, as long as there are nation states who believe in Bitcoin, like the El Salvador, United States, different countries around the world that are actually mining it, I don't see a problem so much. There was a problem that I talked about the last couple of weeks, which was quantum computing, because not everybody, but some big investors started to get spooked about quantum computing. And we did a quick little video, about 8 minutes or so, where I just showed you how ridiculous that argument actually is. If you just look for digital asset news, quantum computing, if you ever hear a problem with it, and it'll explain to you why that doesn't really make any sense. The difference between physical qubits and the other types of qubits. Also, it takes a look at the whole philosophy of, well, if quantum computing comes, don't worry about Bitcoin. It's going to hack into your bank accounts and nuclear codes. That's not remotely true. Just watch that video, because that's another 10-minute discussion. All right. Rob, congrats on not being in the Epstein files. That's true. But you know who was in the Epstein files? Michael Saylor. Crazy, right? And the whole thing came around this. Epstein's assistant reached out to him or they had some kind of dinner where I guess he showed up. And she said that he was so strange that they couldn't get a conversation through. And the only thing he said remotely talking about finance was, I bought a yacht. I think I'm going to sail it. And she says, this guy is so strange. There's no reason why we should even talk to him. And that was it. So, hey, people on the spectrum, off you go. Let's see. How's the back? Back is good. You know what the greatest thing of all time for healing yourself? Fasting and acupuncture. Go figure. You don't even need surgery. That's another whole other video, but not for this channel. Cycle top rug pull. Oh, John says, hey, Rob, is it a coincidence that Bitcoin is dumping because the likes of Coinbase are not signing up to the Clarity Act until they did Bitcoin, but it's continuing to dump even way below the 200-day moving average? You could look at it like that. The banks are ticked off, but the banks are all ticked off. Doesn't really matter. Or you can just say like, well, people really want this. I don't think that's it. If you can take a look at the traditional finance, they're taking a pretty big of a massive beating today at their 1.48% or whatever they're down in S&P 500. So there's problems there. Like I said, problems in trad markets. Bonds are actually doing quite well. I'm not for sure about the price, but the yields have gone up. So, you know, it's like a teeter-totter. Yields go down, prices go up. Prices go down, yields go up. And one is a recession indicator. Usually it's when the prices go down and the yields go up. Is that right? Prices go down. Yeah, but the prices have to go down. And it's not just because right now the prices are the same and the yields are going up because people actually think that we're in a relatively decent economy. So to answer your question, I don't think it's the Clarity Act per se, not to dump it that hard. I think it's just people that, and you know, we'll hear a narrative at some point, but really we're just in a bear market and people are going to do this. They're going to sell off. Let's see. What? Hold on. Let me view something, another piece. There was a very strange segment here. And I'll get to that in a second. Who wants to be a wrench? Who wants to be a moderator? No selling to the price. At least you don't own a huge chunk. Well, that's very true. I've got, well, actually, none of us, I think, are subject to capital gains because you have to actually have gains. A little birdie on the thread say Epstein has a hand in Bitcoin creation. No, it wasn't like he was behind the creation, but I know that he did do some type of funding for developers. And because of that, that's just par for the course, not a big deal. I don't think it's like Jeffrey Epstein was Satoshi Nakamoto or something crazy like that. And let's see, Frosty Peas is here, Echo's here. Sell in May and go away, even in a bear? It's a good question. Usually in a bear market, especially in 2021, we didn't hit a bottom until November of 2022. So if that's sell in May and go away, I think most of the big scoop ups were around the September, October, November timeframe and December. So, well, actually it would be sell in May, go away, and then come back in November, December, end of October. Maybe there's something to that. I'll have to take a look. Epstein invested in Coinbase. Oh, well. I mean, good for him, I guess. But he's passed away. Bitcoin is bouncing back. Check the charts. Who's got a price for me? I'm just curious. Interesting. I can't find it. All right. Passed away. Yeah. I know you're going to say, well, someone killed him. Probably. I don't know. Swiper says, what if we reach the 200-week much earlier than in October? Still not a bad time. You know, it's not like this 4-year cycle was like perfect like the last ones. As a reminder, I mean, we did get an all-time high before the halving, which is quite interesting. And we did get an all-time high in Q4, but it was in October. Usually we get them in November, December. So there's a little bit of changes right there. So if we go down the 200-week moving average, then October, let me see here. I want to say, why does it look like anything? If we went to, oh, this is 2020. It was below the 200-week moving average for a very short amount of time in March 2020. That was probably because of COVID. And look at this. It's a good question. So let's get on to 2022. And there was, you know, Echo said, sell in May and go away. And just when you say sell in May and go away, you don't do anything with markets. You just stay away until like October, November. The 200-week moving average went below in June after quite a long time. So we had all of June, and I guess it really doesn't matter because you're in June, July, you're buying at, look, 20,000 here, whatever else. And let's say that you did what Echo talked about, sell in May and go away, right? And the price is still around 20,000, 18,000. Here's October. November is 21,000. But look at this. You know what? That does look pretty nice, right? You sell in May and go away, come back November, December, and you got prices at 16,000, 16,500, 17,000, 16,900, 17,800 in December 2022. And you got all this time to buy it down here. Well, there you go. So all this stuff that like, because like, let's see here. And reset. Oh, no. June, October. So if you think about it, what I'm doing is I'm essentially buying, because the top was October of 2025. We're going back to 2021. Today is, I've been buying since around here, which the price is 36,000 for Bitcoin, which still is pretty good over the long run, but it's not 17,000. We could come here. Look at that. January, February, March, April, doing this nonsense. You just waited, and it could be here. Now, as a reminder, past performance is an indicative of future results, right? So who knows if it could do it? But I will tell you, once we started to go below the 200-week moving average, I don't put all my spare money in. I just do buy a lot. But during this time, I'll be buying even more. Yeah. I wonder if it's ever gone below 250 week. Look at that. Now that's interesting. I never heard anybody talk about this. The 250 week moving average. That would have been some sweet timing. Look at this. 19,000, 19,000, 19,000, and then everything that was, like we talked before, 18, 250 week moving average. Remember that. We're gonna try to talk about that. I wonder if it's ever gone below the 300 week. Damn, look at that. All right, everybody, new targets. See, this is why it's so important that you guys talk to me, so I can try to figure this stuff out. Look at that. Just ladder in. 200 week is the start, 250. You really start going, and then 300 week moving average. Wow, crazy. And you know, you can do this for a lot of sites, but you know, Ben's got a good one, and you can do this for not just Bitcoin, obviously. You can do it for stocks, commodities, indices, and then foreign funds or FX funds. Look at that. So let's say, like, wonder how that works for Ethereum. Curious. Ooh, interesting. Huh? Yeah, okay. So you got the 250 week moving average. Let me just take this out. There was a couple of good timings for that. When Ethereum was 1,000, 1,000, which is not even that much up that. But again, as a reminder, it did hit almost 4,000. So 250 week moving average. Got it. Good stuff. All right, what did I miss as I was going off on some crazy tangent? So waiting for the 200 moving average, like waiting for the euphoric top coin in 25. True. Bitcoin didn't top any for you. Andrew's correct. Yeah. Hey, it's Jean Louis. Always sending me great stuff. Thank you, Jean Louis. Hey, Rob, could Binance collapse? Massive withdrawals. That would be another black swan event. But Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, and it wouldn't be awesome. I take that back. It'd be awful for the investors, and it'd be awful for the people that would get FTX'd, meaning that you know that if they do collapse, for whatever reason, if it does happen, I'm not saying it is, but if they do collapse, you know, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, as a reminder, we have these rules, right? We got these rules. And these rules, I don't do this to waste my breath. I do this because I screwed up. I don't want you to screw up. The first rule is it's all gone, meaning nobody should invest more than they can afford to lose. If you go and invest $10,000 and you're sweating bullets every day that you're thinking about it, going, man, that's a lot of money, that's a lot of money. You invested more than you afford to lose. So if you just think to yourself, whatever I can invest, if it's all gone, I don't break a sweat, you're good. If you can say, I just spent 20 bucks on Bitcoin. If I lose it, I lose it. If it gains, I gains, whatever. That's the number one rule. Next thing is everything's a scam until proven otherwise. And the third one, just to break into John Luis's point, is don't leave things on exchanges. I believe there was a famous quote where it says, treat every exchange like a gas bathroom. You go in, do your business, and get out as fast as possible. So you can use a ledger. I personally use a bunch of tangems. I do have a ledger. I actually got a couple of those. And do that. I also use iTRUST for custodial services. I do all three because I'm not going to be that guy who's like, I got wrench attacked and they took all my funds. Nope. And let's see. Don't use leverage, even though everybody seems to love to do it. I don't know why. And take profits along the way. Those are the 5 rules that I wish I would have got right. I didn't. Okay. Mike says, no one in the crypto space was aping into silver and gold 3 years ago, but Bitcoin was the ultimate call. To be honest, thankful to have got the memo, but alts and memes have basically panned out the same. Yeah, alts and memes for sure. Well, not for sure. I mean, alts, again, there has to be a payment system, and the banks aren't going to upgrade. I think that will come with the rails, Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. It'll be on Tether and USDC. I still believe that. Bitcoin, though, will perform probably the safest and hopefully the best. But, you know, gold and silver, there's nothing wrong with having that in your portfolio. I personally don't have much. I have no silver, never bought any. I have some gold in my Roth IRA because I'm like, I should do it. But it's a pretty good, something to round yourself out. Oh, well. Dubsky says, Rob, I just got my Celsius redemption code. Check your email. If you guys are curious about this, go follow Aaron Bennett. He always does great videos on it. And he's the first one I went to when I got my email. And apparently it is legit. I think this is our 4th distribution from the nonsense that was Alex Mashinsky, who came on this show multiple times and lied through his teeth. So congratulations to the Celsius holders finally getting something back, jerks. Yeah. Gatsby says, I bet Peter Schiff dumped on everyone. There's got to be nobody who feels better than Peter Schiff. Imagine Peter Schiff walking into the next Bitcoin conference this year in Vegas. He's going to be like, yeah, I told you. I told all you suckers. Tip your hat. Good job. Well played, sir. Yeah, that's it. Let's see. Sequoia says that he's right, or he or she is right. I think Bitcoin still yielded a better return than either gold or silver over the last 3 years if you managed to buy an exit return. And that's true. And that's why I still think it'll do well. And that's it for today. We're going pretty long. I apologize. Just wanted to get, read the room. Looks like most of you are feeling pretty good. Congratulations. You're getting over probably one of the hardest parts, which is just knowing that just stick around. Things will be fine. Don't go crazy. It will probably get worse, just so everybody knows. So expect it. And just deal the hand that you're dealt. Or play the hand you're dealt. That's it for today. Like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Thanks, guys, for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.